What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Bekah. For those of you who are new, I am so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about something that might stir the pot a little bit, and that is it still worth it to stay at a Disney resort on property, or has it lost some of the amenities that provided that draw to want to stay on property? So let's go ahead and dive in. I first want to start by chatting about the price increase. If you have not noticed, maybe just get on the Disney website, check out some of the rates for even in the next 6 months, and they have skyrocketed. I mean, rates where you're looking at Caribbean Beach Resort in the high 300s this December, whereas a few years ago, that would have been unheard of. And I don't know if it's an inventory thing or Disney is needing to make up some of that lost revenue from this past year. Whatever the case is, prices are crazy, but people are buying it. People are willing to pay that much money to stay on property. So I think this will be interesting to talk about. The first way that staying on property at Disney World might not be worth it anymore is extra magic hours. And this is kind of a whole new topic because the more research I've done with this is that extra magic hours really haven't been going for a while. And starting for the 50th anniversary, Disney is going to start implementing early park entry for all Disney Resort guests. And they haven't provided a lot of detail with this, so this could be 30 minutes, an hour, I'm not quite sure. And then at the end of the day, at select parks on select nights, they are going to be doing, what is it called? It's not extra magic hours, extended evening hours is what it's called. And this is just for guests staying at deluxe resorts. So in years past, those extra magic hours in the evening were for anyone staying on Disney property. And sometimes those extra magic hours could go 2-3 hours. You could be in the parks till midnight, sometimes 2 a.m. And I know people loved having almost this exclusive park access feel to where you have shorter wait times, less crowds, and of course that started to change in recent years, but that's no longer going to be the case for anyone staying on property. It's just for deluxe resort guests. So I do think it's interesting, and I do think it's something to consider if you only stay at value resorts or moderate resorts. That amenity is now not really happening. You do get that early theme park entrance, but those late night extra magic hours are no longer happening if you're at a moderate or a value resort. So I do think that Disney is trying to draw more people to stay at deluxe resorts. You are gonna pay more, obviously. So I don't know, it is an interesting amenity that is now shifting and looks a little bit different and might cause you to kind of second guess a little bit if you think that staying at a value or a moderate resort is still worth it. The second reason that staying on property might not be worth it is now that Fast Pass is no longer happening. It's temporarily suspended, so they could bring this back and it could look very different. It could look the same, I'm not sure, but right now Fast Pass is not an option. And one perk in years past was that if you're staying at a Disney hotel, you get that 60-day Fast Pass booking window, which really was a game changer because if you were staying off property, you get that 30-day window and your choices were very limited. And so now that that's taken away, it really doesn't matter what hotel you're staying at when it comes to rides. So again, this may change down the road, but right now, Fast Pass is not a thing, and it's just another amenity that has been taken away that might be something to consider when you are booking your hotel. The third reason that staying on property might not be worth it is Disney transportation from the airport. Come the end of 2021, the Magical Express is going away, which is so sad because I know for so many of us, this was part of your Disney vacation. This was part of the whole experience. So what Disney is doing, instead of the Magical Express, Mears Transportation is now taking over. And this is no longer gonna be a free service. They haven't released any details as to what that cost is gonna be, but it's no longer free. So when you're thinking about the added cost of transportation just from the airport to your hotel, At that point, you're thinking, okay, well, is it worth it to just get an Uber? Or do we just rent a car? You know, there's a couple other options where it might accommodate your family a little bit better based on how much this new transportation system is going to charge. And I know for so many families, having the Magical Express was one less cost to think about. You're already paying for so much for your vacation. And so getting to the airport, it was just one less thing to have to factor into your trip. And so now that you are having to consider paying for transportation from the airport, it adds to your total cost. And then if you do end up renting a car, then you're paying for parking, you're paying, you know, there's just so many more added costs to think through with it. If you are staying off property, nothing really changes. For us, we always rent a car. We love having the freedom of being able to go wherever we want, when we want, and not having to wait on transportation. For us, that's never really been an issue. But again, it makes the decision when you are looking at on property or off property, it eliminates that free transportation perk. And now it's kind of even playing field where it doesn't really matter transportation wise when you're thinking specifically at the airport. Of course, you have access to the boats and the monorail and the Skyliner and the buses once you get there. It's just something else to think about when you are weighing on property or off property. The next topic I want to touch on is the Disney dining plan. Now, up until recently, there has been no word on if this is returning or when it's returning, but Disney has confirmed that it is coming back in some form or fashion. But up until recently, that has been a no. The Disney dining plan has not been an option, but that was another reason that people loved staying at Disney resorts, because it gave you access to the Disney dining plan and it allowed you to prepay for your food and have these credits, and it felt more of this all-inclusive experience. Whereas, you know, you eliminate the Disney dining plan and again, it really wouldn't matter if you were on property or off property when it comes to dining. So we'll see what Disney has to say about the dining plan returning and what that's gonna look like. It may be very different, so we'll see, who knows. But right now, it is one of those perks that has been taken away and is not available. So again, something else to consider. And the last thing I wanna mention is the main perk of staying at a Disney hotel is you're in the Disney bubble. I mean, that is the main reason that I love staying at Disney resorts. You experience the magic in a way that you don't at a Hilton down the street. It's just a different feel than you would get anywhere else. And I think that's a reason why people do pay to stay at Disney hotels, is because you feel the magic. It's part of your vacation. It's part of the whole experience. Coming back to the resort, the lobby, the room, the smells, the dining. Some have character dining options. I mean, it's part of the experience. And I think that's a huge perk to staying on property. You know, I know we've talked a lot about, is it still worth it? A lot of the amenities that are no longer there, but stepping away from the amenities, you're in the Disney bubble, and having that direct transportation to and from the parks, I mean, that part really is valuable. And I think if you are there for the magic, you love being immersed in all things Disney. I know some people are like, I need a break, get me back to the Holiday Inn, which is totally fine. But if you're like me, I want to be immersed in Disney, all things Mickey Mouse, 24/7 while I'm at Disney. That's what I'm paying to be there for. And so I think that's why I love being on property at Disney hotels, because you are right in the center of the magic. All right, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that staying on property at a Disney hotel is still worth it? Is it the same as it was a few years back? Or have some of the amenities been a drawback that are no longer there anymore? So let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you and carry on this discussion in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching. That is it for today, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.